The Vanguard newspaper, page 5 of the Vanguard. Buhari rules out amnesty for bandits, insurgents. That's there. Page 5, Vanguard.
Thank you, Sheriff. What at least now we have an idea of what the president is thinking. Even though, having said that, this statement was made on his behalf by his chief of staff. Now, when somebody makes a statement on your behalf, there's always a little allowance and room for denial. That is an old strategy. But this is what the president, the story says that he has ruled out completely negotiating with bandits, and that the government would continue to deal decisively with insurgents, bandits, and kidnappers who have continued to hold the country to ransom. How that is being done, I honestly don't know. Okay, he was addressing a meeting of northern governors. Let me read exactly what it says here. He said the president stated this at the meeting of northern governors and traditional rulers in the north over the security situation in the region, and this meeting held in Kaduna. And present at the meeting were the chief of staff to the president, who represented Buhari. Question is, you'll be asking, why didn't Buhari go? If he did, the critics will be out there now saying that, okay, he's attending meeting of northern governors and so on and so forth. So I don't see anything wrong in that. What I do see, though, is that we now know, based on what the chief of staff said on behalf of the president, that the administration would not negotiate with the bandits and insurgents.
Right.
And it says, I've already tasked the new service chiefs to devise new strategies that would end this ugly situation where the lives of our people continue to be threatened by hoodlums and criminals. Devise new strategies. So finally, there is admission that the strategies that the previous security chiefs, adopted were not working effectively. As this was done about 2 years ago, we would have gained some traction, but better late than never. Right.
Okay. Yeah, so we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube right now, so let's know what you think about these headlines. Let's stick with the Vanguard newspaper. Page 9 of the Vanguard. Don't call bandits criminals if you want them to surrender. That's Gumi. Don't call bandits criminals if you want them to surrender. Gumi.
The first reaction you probably get is, why is Gumi in the papers on a daily basis? Saying things in fits and starts. But let's take away the reason for him being and look at the content of what he's saying. Gumi's argument is that for as long as you tag these people, he believes very strongly that you should negotiate with all these insurgents and you call some of them bandits. And he believes that for as long as you call them bandits, you're not going to be able to negotiate with them. I think that he sees them more as, at the very least and the most polite, as rebels, okay? And it looks as if Gumi is a bit sympathetic to their cause. Now, in a way, that is a bit funny, because there's a little part of me that aligns with this kind of argument. I believe that what we have, in most cases, not in all, what we have, in all honesty, is people rebelling against the injustice and the bad governance that we've had in this country over the years. I believe that is the foundation. There'll be some criminal whatever in between, but when you talk about revolution, I've always said it's not like a football game that has a beginning and an end. And look at what Gumi says. He says, you're emphasizing on criminality. Even the press are criminals too, because they are putting oil into the fire. I agree with him. These people are listening to you. You should not address them as criminals if you want them to succumb. Youths are ready to put down their weapons now, and you're calling them criminals. How do you want them to cooperate? You have to show them they are Nigerians and they should be law-abiding and so on and so forth. The whole idea is, and he also mentions the issue of the Niger Delta, and he says Nigeria was facing national problems, stressing that the country should listen to their demands and strike out the word criminality. Let me show you something. I don't wish you harm, but if you are stopped by armed robbers on the road, will you not use the word? You will not use the word criminal on them, and so on and so forth. He brings the argument down to the basest level that you can think of. But I think we need to take a very good look at what Gumi says. We might not agree with him, but I believe that there is some substance in what we have. Definitely, Definitely, yes, there's some criminality going on, but this is a product of the seed that had been planted over the years, and we might not have heard the last of it. That is the part that bothers me the most. We might not have heard the last of it.
Regardless of the product, Jimmy, I beg to disagree with Gumi. A criminal is a criminal. If you pick up a gun and deprive people of their freedom and kill people, maim people, burn property, you're a criminal.
Yes, but what pushed you to it?
It doesn't matter at that point.
No, it does.
Everybody. Can we say that everybody can now pick up guns because the country is not doing well? Is that our excuse now? A criminal is a criminal.
Look,
regardless of what might have pushed you to it, you are a criminal if you've committed a crime.
I agree.
There is no excuse for that.
I agree. But
and the name will not change.
I agree.
They are criminals.
I agree. Wait.
I'm living here.
Living where?
I'm going. They are criminal.
Going where? Don't go anywhere. No. See, I agree with you totally, but we cannot divorce. Look, let me be very honest with you.
Yeah.
The way this country is going and our leaders are taking us for a ride. Let us tell ourselves some home truths.
Yeah.
A lot of people are up there. They're angry. Isn't it one of the reasons why we cannot even encourage the government to license firearms for people? A lot of people are angry. They go through a lot of agony and whatever.
So let's say everybody now picks up guns.
Wait now.
And we now say it's because they're angry or they have picked up guns, so they are not criminals.
I have not said so. But what I am saying is that the larger responsibility lies with those who control the affairs of this country to make sure you don't push people to that level.
I agree. Yes.
What does he say? What is the famous proverb? What does the famous proverb say? He says a hungry man is an angry man. And an angry man could jolly well be a violent man.
And he will go to jail. Well, it's as simple as that. If you're angry and you go and commit a crime, you're a criminal and you go to jail. If they pick up a gun and say it's the economy that pushed them to it, if they are caught committing that crime, they will go to jail.
Sheriff, calm down. I agree with you. But what I am also saying, I'm adding a caveat that if you continue to subject the people of any society and whatever to this, you're going to be getting more violent responses.
I agree.
In a country
completely.
In a country where there is no justice, in a country where there is no fairness, look at this editorial you're going to read next and tell me what kind of thing it could produce.
Yeah.
So what you agree on your own,
I agree with you completely.
So where were you going?
Completely. I'm going to go and...
Don't go there. Don't go there. At least if you are going, leave this shirt for me.
What are you saying? Let's look at this editorial, Jimmy. Let's look at it. Yeah. Quite an interesting one from the Nation newspaper. Double standards. IPOP got its just desserts, but so should bandits in northern forests.
Now, this is what I call a very dangerous editorial. The subject is dangerous. The implications are dangerous. And these are the little things that fuel the kind of agitations that we see. What does it says? The editorial complains about double standards in handling the two what we call, for better word, insurgents. Look at it. It says the speed and dexterity exhibited by the Nigerian army in clamping down on IPOB in Olu, Imo State, is exemplary. It shows what a determined national army should do when affronted by dissidents and troublemakers. But we note that similar adroitness was not applied in tackling the banditry in the northwest part of the country. Could it be that what is sauce for the goose is not sauce for the gander? And to cut it all short, the editorial tries to say that the government is handling the issue in the north with kid gloves and bringing the sledgehammer in handling the one that happened in the east. Whether they are right, whether it is right or wrong, depends on which side of the divide that you are. To be very honest, you could have an argument from now to kingdom come, but it is bad enough that we have such an example to show.
And we shouldn't even have arrived at this point where we're not sure exactly how the government is handling things.
Yes, part of this is the lack of a proper information to the public about all these various things. But also, you cannot completely rule out the issue of nepotism. And you see, when we talk about balance in service chiefs and things like this, and some people talk just about merit, there's more to it. Had you had one service chief from the southeast, maybe he would have been able to explain to his people what maybe.
Yeah.
But with the way the security network is skewed, then it makes this editorial extremely dangerous
And valid.
You see, and I'm appealing again and again and again to the president and the top officials of federal government of Nigeria to please take note of this kind of sensitivity. That's why I first of all said it is a dangerous editorial, but you cannot dismiss it. You cannot dismiss it. And this is what they say. They say that the zest exhibited with respect to dealing with IPOB members in Olu and Ihiala should therefore be extended to the northwestern states. To do otherwise would give the impression that the federal government is applying double standards. Such practice would also give impetus to the conspiracy theories of a hidden agenda, as the majority of the security heads are from the northwest zone, where palliatives instead of ammunition are being offered to bandits. The federal government must therefore do everything to avoid giving the impression that crime pays in certain parts of the country. The consequences could be very devastating in the long run. This is the most difficult in all my career in this job. This is the most difficult editorial I've had to handle, but I cannot ignore it.
And it's quite a sensitive one at that.
Very sensitive.
Okay, we're going to stick with the Vanguard newspaper. Page 8 is where we are right now. Still talking security. NSA warns against 5G network, expresses national security concerns.
Well, I think whether we like it or not, to fall in line with modern best practice, we would have to adopt the 5G network. But the NSA says he is a bit worried. And let me say what his worry is, of course, so that people understand. He says that we are concerned about the deliberate vulnerabilities and backdoors within the 5G network. That is one of the key concerns we have, and this will make infrastructure highly susceptible to eavesdropping, tracking, cyber attacks, military and industrial espionage, and other malicious activities by foreign actors. But he then says, we understand these are things that will be put in place, particularly in the policy, and so on and so forth. So that is where his worry lies, before people start expanding it beyond that. There's nothing wrong with the 5G, but on the international front, he suspects. But this is the price that Africa has to pay for lagging behind.
God bless you. That's exactly what's on my mind.
This is the price you have to pay for lagging behind. By the way, they've started vaccination in Ghana.
Yes, sir.
Nigeria is still...
Even in Sierra Leone.
In Sierra Leone. Vaccination has started.
They didn't wait for COVAX facility to come.
Where is the 100,000 that was supposed to come?
They have said that we are giving it to those ones that cannot afford it now. In Africa. They said we are giving it to them.
Vaccination has started, and Ghana, to the best of my knowledge, I think they are paying for the first consignment.
Yes, they paid for it.
What I was made to understand is that they wrapped all this arrangement up in just 1 week, and the president was directly involved. He said, let's just go to the next one.
You don't want to talk about it?
No, I don't want to talk about that one. Even if you give me your
let's I am not giving you my share.
All right. I love this shirt.
Thank you. Let's now go to COVID itself now. Oni unveils local COVID-19 remedy approved by NAFDAC. There you go, Jimmy. This should be interesting.
Yeah, I don't understand how this was tucked into the inside pages of the newspaper.
Yeah. This is the front page material, actually.
Front page material.
A bold front page material.
Yes, that finally we have a local remedy that a local remedy that has actually been approved by NAFDAC and has the blessings of the Oni, whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
I don't want to run a commercial, but I need to so that you can identify what I'm talking about. It was produced by a company called Yemchem. And it has been approved. Let me hear what it says is that we have been on this research. That's the head of the company. We have been on this research for almost 2 years, and we had an alliance with different organizations. Blah blah blah. NAFDAC gave us all approval levels last year, September. We assure you that the products are effective and that we have started using it for COVID-19 positive victims, including political office holders. I think my mind is going to Ibadan in that, in that regard. But I wonder why this story is tucked in here. I can't understand.
It's actually a front page material.
And a development here says that years after first COVID-19 case, Nigeria has only tested 1% of their population. 1%. And it says,
are you surprised?
Actually, I'm not. Ashuru condemns strategic protocols to combat pandemic. A renowned Professor Tom already says that the response has been incoherent, lacking focus. I agree with him. And while he fears vaccine hesitancy would pose serious prevention problem, with the way we are going, I wonder what kind of confidence you would expect Nigerians to have in this vaccine, whatever.
Jimmy, if you open up the phone lines now and ask people whether they will take the vaccine when it comes, you will get the response. You understand? You understand what Prof was saying there.
And he says that
because we're not doing enough to convince people that this is the way to go.
At the time Ghana is vaccinated people, he is talking about weak logistics responsible for vaccine delay. Part of what is responsible for vaccine delay, I can assure a lot of you, is this typical attitude of our civil servants and political office holders. It looks as if some of them might be trying to see how they can corner this and corner that, make things impossible. Then it gets to an emergency
trying
level.
to be the one in front of negotiations.
And court and the same. You're doing these things at the expense of your people. If Ghana can be vaccinating its people alone,
who is supposed to get the vaccines first?
Come on.
A country of over 200 million people.
Well, for Lagos here, I hope that Professor Abayomi and indeed the governor, Dide Sowolu, will take themselves out of all this mess and try and find a way to get Lagosians vaccinated. Because you can't. That's what. Look at Professor Tomori says here. Your approach has been incoherent. Do you know what the word incoherent means?
Yeah, I know.
Check your.
I know. I know.
When you say somebody is incoherent,
it's a mild way of saying guy.
When you say somebody is incoherent in say the race course area, you're not going to put him on the bus to Sulere or to Agege. It's going to take the bus going to where.
Okay, all right. Let's Jimmy, let's go to the Nation newspaper. We're here on page 5 on the Nation. Lagos government MPA to truck owners quit Apapa.
But I thought we heard this on Monday.
Yeah,
and it's the same person.
And
the story says that the special advisor to the governor, Mr. Oluwatoyin Fayinka, has said yesterday again that they should quit. I keep saying, please, we have enough of backing. Can we just see some bites? Okay, we have enough of backing. Let us just see some bites. And our papers too should be tired of repeating the same thing over and over again. Maybe it's an old story that just got into this paper. I honestly don't know. But they have said that trucks that are not on the electronic call-up system will not be permitted into Apapa as from tomorrow. Neither should they be permitted to park on Western Avenue or whatever it is. Let's see how it goes. By Tuesday, Wednesday next week, we'll be able to give
this particular story, this particular move, this call-up thing needs to work. It has to work because it's looking like the last straw. It needs to work. We can't come back here next year and be talking about the same thing.
And so if it doesn't work, what happens?
It means that it cannot work.
And then what happens?
Oh, well.
You see, the truth is, to be honest with you, Sheriff, gradually, slowly, almost surely, we're leading to a failed state on all fronts. And I'm being very serious now. When you said it has to work, of course, we believe that. But all the other things that haven't worked, what has happened? We're gradually, slowly inching towards a failed state.
Some said we're there already.
We're virtually there already. And the unfortunate thing, I thought about it when I was having my bath this morning. I was thinking of Lagos. I was listening to, there's this guy that brings out some weekly thing that one Balogun Eko. He was raising issues about Lagos and so on and so forth. And I was having my bath. I imagined that someone Olutu might be having his bath at the same time. And I said to myself, this gentleman is being saddled with the problem he did not create. The current governor. I sympathize with him. But he has his name to protect. He has his family name, his personal name to protect. If somebody else has created the problem and you do not have what Nigerians will call the liver to do what is right, it's best to just leave it to somebody else to come and solve. Because 80% of the criticisms against Sanwo-Olu were not created by him.
That's true.
They were not created.
I agree. Maybe 90%.
They were not, now, whether he has the freedom to do what is right is what I can't understand. But when history is being told, it is his name. When history is being told, the buck stops on his table. He has to take a firm decision. Not just in the area of this, Apapa,
right.
in the area of thugs, in the thuggery, crime, NURTW, politics, and various areas, traffic especially.
Yeah.
Even this toll gate that we complain about was not his creation. To be fair to him, he wasn't the governor then. But that is the price you pay. When some of us say that we find it difficult to take up public office, it's things like this that we talk about. So it's up to him and his deputy. It's up to them. Because if part of what the problem you have in Apapa also is not just corruption, but also politics.
That's right.
Some people don't want to offend certain persons because of their ambition, and then you pass the buck to this gentleman to face all the flack. It's up to him.
It's up to him, actually.
We're moving slowly
It's up
towards
to
a
him.
failed state. It's up to him.
And Lagos can't afford that.
We can't afford it. If Lagos fails, that's it. We're very, very close to this. We are not talking politics now.
Yeah.
We're talking reality. This gentleman, this Balogbo, if you go to his Instagram, some of the things is a bit over whatever. There's a lot of exaggeration, yes.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, he keeps raising valid points that need to be addressed. And unfortunately, the gentleman in the seat, he didn't create the problem. But maybe God has said that he will be the one to provide the solution. He has to make up his mind very quickly.
Right.
And I think a family meeting will also help him in that regard.
What do you mean?
For his family to meet and tell him that, look, you're putting a name on it. Because, look, we have gotten to a point we have to look at ourselves face to face now and tell ourselves some home truths.
Okay.
If we can't do that, let us just stay and take whatever comes to us. I can't sit back and do that. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life in misery. I'm not Andrew. I'm not going anywhere. He's here.
Remember when that violence broke out last year? His relatives' homes were attacked.
They were
and everything.
attacked. His mother's home was burnt. And the majority of these problems were not created by him. I feel, when I keep going at him on certain things, deep inside me, I feel sorry for him. But the time has come now. You can no longer ignore that you are heading towards a failed state. Okay? And the time has come now for him to make up his mind where he wants to be. If he wants to align himself with it. Because the person or the persons who created this mess are well known to anybody. We don't need to state the obvious. They are cooling off. He's the one facing the heat. It's up to him. But what I can tell you, if we continue along this path, I hope we have a state and a country to govern 2-3 years from now. I rest my case for today.
Okay. Yeah. I was really taken in. So, what's coming up at 9?
First of all, I have to apologize. Yesterday,
Yes.
I couldn't come up at 9. You better be careful. These, what do they call this in shawarma things that you eat? You better watch out because I suspect the mayonnaise in them.
Okay.
So that one dabaru my system, and so I couldn't come. So I apologize. So today, the commissioner that was supposed to come yesterday,
That's right,
has agreed to come on Tuesday.
Okay.
So today we'll just look at a few things in the papers. I need to relax to get this thing.
To get that thing settled.
Very
well. No hard stuff to.
No.
disrupt
But
our
please
system.
watch out for what you eat, especially this shawarma and mayonnaise. I suspect the mayonnaise because there are loads of expired
Stuff out there.
in Akpongwa and so on and so
You
forth.
can say that again. Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on the
God
show.
bless you.
Many thanks to our sponsors, MTN Nigeria. Dailies today, we're back on Monday. But Jimmy, on Saturday tomorrow, what is coming up tomorrow?
Oh, we have the People's Parliament. We are going to we're going to give people the opportunity to talk about whether the tolling should continue here in Lekki here or not. I'm of the view that it shouldn't. It's part of what we're talking about, the failed state. The problem now, the person, remember when it was started, there were 4 tolls on that road. Public pressure reduced it to 1. Public pressure should knock it out completely. So I'm going to be having but this gentleman is going to sit in with me, just to monitor people's calls. And the former deputy governor of Lagos State has said that she must contribute to that
to that conversation.
Conversation
All right.
tomorrow.
Fantastic.
So we'll take her on for 5 to 10
It starts 8 o'clock tomorrow.
8 to 9.
8 to 9 tomorrow.
Yeah, just get ready. You phone in, we'll give you 1 minute. You can make a point, but please let us all be nice and polite about it.
All right, then, Jimmy, thank you for coming.
Okay.
Let's go to break and hear a word from our sponsors. We have the news coming at the top of the hour. After the news, we continue our conversation on restructuring. Stay here.
.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.